sense to take the kind of risk that most people are willing to take, and that cash should always be your default option, probably for quite a few more years. So if you don't know what to do, go to cash. I'd say that's going to be just as true several years from now, probably even the beginning of the next decade, in the early 2020s, that whenever you don't know what to do, until we go to the next era of prosperity, you should keep your money in cash. And of course, there are always people going to say, these financial advisors, well, you should be trying to get a yield, you shouldn't be happy getting 0.something%. But if you remember when yields were very high, and people in this room are old enough to remember when you could easily get 13% in the bank. And so almost everyone said, well, just put your money in the bank then. Don't put it in the stock market. Don't put it in the bond market. Don't buy real estate. Don't do any of those things, because you can get all this money guaranteed. And of course, almost everybody loved that guaranteed money. And since so many people were doing it, it ended up being the least advantageous of all the choices. Even though getting 13% a year will compound your money very quickly, you double your money in about 6 years, but you could have doubled your money and tripled your money more quickly by doing almost any other kind of investment, whether it was buying stocks, whether it was putting money in real estate, putting money in all kinds of bonds, including treasuries. So the choice that everyone made, or almost everyone made, was actually the inferior choice of all. And I believe that now we're in the opposite situation, where people say, well, why should I get 0.something% in the bank? I can get a yield of such and such percent if I put my money into utilities, or these well-known consumer names, or telecom. Or if I want to take a little bit more risk, I can put my money in the S&P 500 and get a yield of about 2.15%. Or I can put my money in certain other types of investments that people currently consider to be good. And of course, nobody wants to put money into cash. Emerging markets are very unpopular. And I even heard something on Bloomberg this morning where they said the ones that had performed the best in September were the so-called BRICS. And that's the one that got by far the most negative coverage in August. The BRICS are finished. That's an old way of investing. It's hopeless. And of course, that ended up being the very top performing major asset class of September 2013.